Hey everyone, how's it going? So I wanted to talk today about exercise, specifically weight training. Now, going back quite a few years when I was first diagnosed, exercise was pretty much off the table for me altogether. Now, I've got ARVC, and I know that can be a little bit more complicated than some of the other cardiomyopathies, but running, high intensity sports, weightlifting, was a no-go. And to be honest, it wasn't even an option. I was so symptomatic that I couldn't have thought about doing any of these things. Now, as time's gone on, things have improved. My ejection fraction has come up slightly. I had some ablation surgery a few years ago, and now I'm very, very unsymptomatic on a daily basis. So I approached my cardiologist and I said to him, I'd like to get back to doing some weight training. The only cardio I can really do is long walks with the dog, which is fine. I'm completely happy with that. But I would like to, build some muscular tone again. As a guy who used to work out and train a lot, it's quite important to me. I wasn't looking myself. I still am not looking how I used to look. It's very hard for me to manage my weight these days, but I'm doing the best I can. But one thing I wanted to do was, just to try and build back a bit of muscular tone in, my shoulders, arms, chest, etc. So I approached my cardiologist and he was happy for me to do that. The stipulation, though, was that any exercise I was doing, I had to be able to breathe comfortably throughout the exercise. And actually, his advice was, whatever exercise you're undertaking, you should be able to have a conversation whilst doing it. That's a good barometer of how you should be doing your training. So then I thought, well, okay, so how am I going to, if I have to be able to talk and breathe normally through an exercise, I'm going to have to do high reps, 20 reps a set, and actually, go for muscle tone. I'm not going for size. I'm not looking to bulk up, although I have, since I started lifting weights, put on a little bit of size again, but I have noticed a much different tone all over my body. So, I just wanted to give a quick demonstration here. I've got some 5 kilos here, 8 kilos and 10 kilos. And most of my exercise, whatever I'm doing, I can do with just the weights you see here in front of me, and I can get pretty much an all-over body workout. As I say, the key factor here is to be able to talk and hold a conversation whilst doing the reps. And you may think, well, how are you going to possibly build muscle and tone if you're not seemingly working that hard? I never really actually break a sweat, but I can trust you. I am curling here 5 kilograms. And if you do enough of these, if you can do 20 of these per set, by the end of that, trust me, your biceps are starting to burn. And then if you can add in another 3 or 4 sets of that, by the end, you've definitely given your arms a very good quality workout. And as you can see, exactly as I was told, I am able to perform this. Now, my arms are definitely burning, but as you can see, it's not really interrupting my breathing. I can hold a conversation, and actually that feels very, very good. Again, with the same set of dumbbells, 5 kilos, I can do shoulder raises, and I can hold a conversation whilst doing these as well. And probably actually on my shoulders, I don't need to do quite as many before I start to really feel that burn. That's already kicking in now. 5 kilos is actually quite heavy for this sort of exercise, but I can do it. I can breathe normally whilst doing it. And as you can see, again, if I do high reps, quite a few sets, then you can see how I can build the shoulders as well. So I've got, as I say, 10s, heavier ones. By the way, I wouldn't normally work out in my kitchen. It's just the best place for lighting and actually film something. Even the back, which is an important area to work on. If you're doing your chest, it's important to strengthen the back as well. And you can just, single arm rows. Again, these are quite easy to do for me with a set of 10s on each side. And again, I can do quite a few reps of these, hold a conversation. Now, when I used to do these, I used to bend right over on a bench. But I do find that slightly uncomfortable now. Maybe because of the heart situation, I don't know. But for me, it's easier just to be a little bit more upright whilst doing those. And to be honest, I feel exactly the same, pinch in the same spot. So look, hopefully that helps. Your first port of call should be speaking to your cardiologist if you're thinking about doing exercise like this or returning to this type of exercise. Everyone's different. Everyone has different parameters. Now, some of these weights I'm using might be too heavy for people, might be too light for some people. As I say, this is just what I'm able to do, and it's really helped me. As I say, I feel like I'm training again. I feel like I'm keeping myself as fit as I can to some degree, and for me, mentally, it's been a massive relief to be able to do something again. So I hope that helps. See you soon.